Good afternoon, my fellow family, friends, and colleagues. This is your girl, Dr. Charity, aka the Queen of Divas, and I'm here to give you your weekly encouragement on today. Well, on this beautiful, gorgeous, yet humid morning, I am here to encourage and motivate. I hope and pray and wish that all who is tuning in on today is still tapping into it. It's still tapping into it because what you do, as I previously stated last week, what you do while you're going through the journey is what determines when you get a hold of the moment outside of the journey. It depends on what you do. That's why I told you last week the time is now. Do something now. Don't wait until things look good and things look perfect to make a move. Because whatever it is that you so desire and deserve, it is waiting on you. You are not waiting on it. And it is closer than you think. But you've got to take the first leap. You've got to take the risk. You've got to accept the challenge. And you've got to take the first step. If you don't, that's on you. Because it's there. Those who are tuning in today, I'm letting you know and encouraging you, it's there. But you have to do something. As they say in the church, as they used to say in the old church, you got to give God something to work with. Well, you got to do something. Can't wait till things get perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. But it will be right. And the time is right now. Not later, not years. I'll give you an insight. The Spirit told me a couple of days ago. I had a dream, and when I came to, I said, well, that'll be a year. The Spirit said, try a month. I said, uh-oh. And that evening, I got a confirmation from the woman of God. So I'm telling you right now, it's not later on. If you are doing what you need to do and doing something, it's closer than you think. And it's bigger than what you believe. I'm going to leave that alone right now. But on today, I wanted to provide you with a motivational to go and piggyback along with what I said last week. I want to encourage you and motivate you and let you know what it is that you are got to do during this journey, on this journey, and the process to where you are trying to obtain. I'm just wanting to motivate, because I have a feeling that just like myself, somebody out there needs a motivational. Is that you today? Is that you today? If that's you today, just lend me your ear. I got something nice for you. If I had to give this weekly encouragement a title, it would be Prepare to Adjust. Let that resonate for a minute. Prepare to adjust. You might be saying, somebody out there might be saying, well, Dr. Charity, what does it mean to prepare to adjust? Adjust for what? I'm glad you asked. It's adjusting to so you can be ready to accept what is on the other side. So you can be ready for. You adjust to be ready for. Because a lot of times when we're going through the state of misery, the process and the journey of getting to this point, this moment of obtaining what we rightfully deserve and desire on the inside, we as human beings attempt to do the same thing every time. We don't like change. We like to stay comfortable in the comfort zone. But I'm here to tell you today, when you go to something new, that new chapter in your life, higher heights and deeper depths calls for adjustment. it calls for an adjustment. You've got to do things differently than you did previously because it's not the same. You want me to give an example? I give a great example. It's just like if you were hired as an associate and then got promoted to be a manager, management don't do the same task nor work description of an associate. So there are things that you might have to do differently as the manager that you wouldn't have to do if you were an associate. It's the same thing with a relationship. What you do when you're dating is not the same when there's a long-term commitment, and especially when it's marriage. It's not on the same level. So what you would do when you're just dating, you can't take that same mindset and go into a long-term commitment and or a marriage. It just won't work. Because you got to go and do things differently. You got to adjust to that which you are trying to obtain so you'll be able to maintain and sustain. It takes that. So, on today, for this week, I am encouraging you and motivating you that adjustment, you got to adjust. You got to do it. This is the only way to obtain it, maintain it, and sustain it. It's through adjusting. It doesn't feel good always. It can get uncomfortable. But your mind has to take it that there's something greater on the other side, as I've previously stated. There's something way far more better than what my eyes have seen and what my mind could imagine. So me adjusting is worth doing it because there's greater. You can't go about it the same route. You want something different, then you got to do something different. And that's what I want you to know on today. Doesn't always feel good to adjust, but no, it's worth it. Your labor is not in vain. The adjustment is just a matter of you coming and evolving as an individual and becoming a greater version of you to where you're going. Where you're going calls for a greater version of you because you want and desire and feel like you deserve greater. So if you want greater, you have to be greater. That's all the process of the adjustment. I heard Pastor Keon last week talk on being flexible. Because if your mind stays narrow in the mindset that everything is fine just as it is, and I'm just going to go to the next level just like it is, because as we used to hear, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Well, it ain't about whether it's broke or not. It's about changing accordingly. According to what it is you want, then you change accordingly. It's not about whether it's broken or not. And he hit it right on the head. You got to adjust. You got to be flexible. Because even though there's greater, you don't know what greater calls for you to do. And you got to be prepared for it. You can't tell God how he's going to bless you. And you can't, even if you're not spiritually, completely 100% spiritually there, you can't dictate how this greater opportunity is going to approach you. Most of the time, I tell you right now, it's unexpected. So, I am here to tell you right now on today, prepare to adjust. Begin to adjust. And realize, expand the mindset and realize that this is not to hurt you. It is because it is bringing greater out of you to obtain greater. Not only to obtain it, but to maintain it. Not only to maintain it, but to sustain it. Because greater is waiting on you. But it takes you doing something. And today, what you need to do, starts with adjusting accordingly. You want to be that college graduate? You got to think like one before you be one. You want to be that manager? You got to think like one before you be one. You want to be that spouse? You got to think like one to be one. It all starts with the mindset. Then you do and take a leap and a step of faith. Once you do that, you're about to get blown away. Exponentially. You're about to get blown away. Your eyes have not seen, and your mind cannot your mind could not even comprehend that which is waiting on you once you adjust as you go through. Well, that's all I have for you on today. But tune in next week for another weekly encouragement. And subscribe to Lady Superwoman at Lady Superwoman 9999 on YouTube for all of your weekly encouragements. And remember that this adjustment, prepare to adjust, not because something is broken, but because that greater opportunity you want to not only obtain, you want to be able to maintain and then sustain. Because the greater opportunity requires for a greater version of you. And it's within you, within your mind and within your heart. Don't underestimate yourself, because you can do it. I love you. See you next week. Bye-bye.